everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Advocacy Day. Thank you so much for being here for the CSH Bring California Home Advocacy Day. We're so excited to see you all. I'm Sharon Rapport. I'm with Corporation for Supportive Housing, and CSH is a national nonprofit that advances affordable housing with services to help people thrive. And we do this through advancing policies around effective funding, around investing in our communities equitably, and strengthening our voice in our field. A big part of our work is empowering people with lived experience and people working in our field to educate decision makers on what it takes to solve homelessness. And we know homelessness is solvable, right? Yeah! So thank you so much for coming out, making your voices heard, educating our lawmakers that housing solves homelessness. Yeah! So happy to see a record number of people out here today advocating for funding, for ongoing funding, and for the right solutions to homelessness. Right. Yeah! I'm going to turn it over now to Alex Vysotsky from National Alliance to End Homelessness, who's going to be our MC for the rally.
Give it up for Sharon Rapport, everybody. Yeah. Sharon has been fighting for homeless solutions for years and probably forgets more about policy in a day than I learned in a year. So it's a privilege to stand shoulder to shoulder with her. I'm your MC for this rally. My name's Alex Vysotsky. I'm with the National Alliance to End Homelessness. We are here today for this Advocacy Day, which is being organized by CSH and the Bring California Home Coalition, with a simple message for folks in the Capitol. Do not push homeless funding off a cliff. Now is not the time to defund programs that work. Yes. Solutions to homelessness are not something that we can fund only when we have a surplus or only when we feel like it.
That's right.
That's what got us into this crisis.
Come on now.
People are dying on our streets every day from this crisis, so we need to start funding the solutions that work consistently, day in, day out.
Yes.
We'd never expect our schools to be able to teach our kids or our firefighters to come whenever we call if they had to go hat in hand to Sacramento every year just to ensure that they had funding. But that's what we ask of our homeless services agencies. We're here because the folks in the building need to hear your voices. They need to hear from people actually on the ground doing the work and who have experienced homelessness and have the expertise to remind them that their choices are not an academic exercise, but real people's lives.
Yes!
I'm so excited about the folks we have coming up to speak. We have a couple elected officials coming up. These are not business as usual elected officials, but leaders that have stuck their necks out time and time again to fight for housing and services. We also have a couple speakers coming up that are experts in housing insecurity and homelessness because they've lived it, and they're here to speak some truth. The first person I want to introduce is Ronnie Williams. Ronnie is a homelessness and prison reentry advocate with more than a decade of personal experience navigating homelessness and reentry challenges. He's committed to leveraging education, expertise, and community engagement to foster systemic change and improve the lives of individuals facing similar struggles. Ronnie is a strategic, outcome-oriented practitioner with a profound commitment to advocating for policies that address homelessness and support successful re-entry into society for individuals with a history of incarceration. With a comprehensive understanding of homeless systems, policies, and community planning, Ronnie aims to make homelessness rare, brief, and non-recurring throughout Los Angeles, striving to create a more equitable and supportive environment for individuals experiencing homelessness and re-entry. Please give it up for Ronnie Williams.
Good morning!
Good morning!
Now one more time, good morning!
Good morning!
My name is Ronnie Williams, and I want to start off by saying this. I no longer stand on the shoulders of a giant that have come before us. I am now a giant who is leading others who do not have the ability to stand. I will place them on my shoulders so they can stand and be heard and seen. I want to talk to the legislative body. It's important for them to remember America's and the Republic's true values. On the Statue of Liberty, it says, "Give me your tired, your poor, give me your huddled masses yearn to breathe free. The wretch refuse of your framing shores." Send these. This is what America asks for. The homeless, the tempest tossed. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. That is what is on our Statue of Liberty. That is what we have forgotten as Americans. As the republic that exemplifies democracy and the right for free will and the right for human rights, we have forgotten our core values. What is liberty? The state of being free within society from oppressive restrictions imposed on one's way of life, behavior, or political views. How long are the people of California, how long of America, how long shall the homeless be restricted?
How long?
How long shall their lives be imposed?
How long?
I'm asking a question to our legislative body, the stakeholders, those that write policy and legislation. It is you who's supposed to be the voice of the people. How long shall we be oppressed? And I say we because I am lived experience. I know what it is to be hungry. I know what it is to sleep on the streets. I know what it is to sleep in the cold. Dirty clothes, needing to bathe, brush your teeth, basic health care. What is a republic? A state in which supreme power is held by the people and their elected representatives. Have we forgotten that we, the people, we are the ones that have the power, the voices, we are the ones that put you in office? Have you lost your mind? Do your job. Be the voice of the people. I will say it one more time, just in case you didn't hear me. Do your job. Be the voice, the power, and the strength of the people. With that in mind, I leave you with these simple words. The Bible says, when the wicked are in power, the people cry out. But when the righteous are in power, the people rejoice. So to the people that represent this great state, to the legislative body, stakeholders, and the policymakers, which one are you? Are you the voice of the righteous that empowers and represents the people? Are you the voice of the wicked that suppress the values and American core values that represent this great nation? With that, we shall end homelessness. Yes, I could have started off with statistics. The budget cut $1.2 billion. We already know that. But America, the state of California, needs to be reminded of our core values of what it is to be an American, what it is to have patriotism, what it is to be the minority and yet have a voice in this country. Let's end homelessness, and let's do it together from the bottom to the top, to the top to the bottom. For we are all one. We are one voice. Let's end homelessness.
Thank you, Ronnie, for getting us going. That would normally be a pretty hard act to follow, but I have the privilege of introducing someone that I know can follow that, Zella Knight. Zella Knight is the President Emeritus of the Residents United California Home. She is a member of both the BCH Policy and Education Committee and the Coordinating Committee. Please welcome Zella Knight.
Let me hear you say, bring California home.
Bring California home.
Say it again.
Bring California home.
A little louder.
Bring California home.
Bring California Home was created in 2019 as a diverse coalition of people with lived experience, homeless advocates, local governments, nonprofits, affordable housing providers, grassroots community organizations, dedicated, let me say that again, dedicated to reversing the cycle of homelessness in California through ongoing funding at scale, not at the bottom, for evidence-based interventions. Again, let me holler, interventions, preventions of housing and home-based services. The reason why I participate in this coalition, I and my unhoused peers are the center part of this movement to end homelessness. We are of value. We matter.
Yes.
We have faces. We have heart.
Yes.
We have spirits. And we have souls.
That's right.
We're working to do nothing less as anything less than ongoing funding. Anything less than cuts, abuses, harms. Those elements are unacceptable.
Yeah. Unacceptable.
Let me hear you again. Who are we? Say it louder.
Bring California home.
Let the Capitol hear you.
Bring California home.
That's what we're talking about. As I was cycling in and out in homelessness, I reached out to Assembly Member Rivas. She heard my cry, she heard my pain, she heard my agony. Assemblymember Rivas has been the most consistent, prominent legislative champion in our fight to solve homelessness over the last 5 years. Since the day she was sworn in, she has worked tirelessly to reform the state's response to homelessness. She has fought for legislation to create a secretary to end homelessness. She fought for reforms of our state's interagency council on homelessness. She fought for creating revenue sources that would have raised billions, let me repeat that, billions, every year for housing and services, and creating a shared vision of accountability across every level of government. I am humbled, I am honored, and I am privileged to introduce my friend, our collaborator, and our champion, Assemblymember Luz Rivas.
Wow. Good morning. Good morning. I want to start off by thanking Zella. We have become friends over these last few years. She's in my district, so I get to see her in Sacramento and at home, advocating for all of us. I want to thank the Corporation for Supportive Housing and, of course, the Bring California Home Coalition for having me today. Thank you all for being here. I'm Luz Rivas. I represent the San Fernando Valley in Los Angeles. Those of us from the Valley, we're proud to be from the Valley, if you don't know that. So as you all know, homelessness is the top issue for many Californians, and we need to make sure that it's the top issue for our state government too, right? And I know that's why you're all here, because some of us have been doing our job, but not everybody here has been, right? And so that's why it's important that you share your stories today, share why this is important. Since 2019, I have been fighting for ongoing funding for homelessness because how do we expect to help our brothers and sisters if we're not providing the funding that's needed? We need permanent funding, or else we'll end up with a permanent crisis, right? And that's why I'm here. That's why I have always been happy to work with the Bring California Home Coalition. Because I know how you all are. When you all show up, right? You pack these legislators' offices, share your stories, and you make a difference. I have experienced that from you. That's why I joined you. And I know that the impact that you're going to make today is very important. And I know you. You're all going to do this today. So thank you for having me today. Very excited to continue to be part of your family. And together we're going to do this, right? Because like that sign says, homelessness is solvable, right? We can end homelessness in California. I really believe that. I know you're all with me. And let's do this. So thank you so much.
Thank you for being our champion!
Thank you, Assemblymember Rivas. We're so grateful to have had you as a champion these past few years. It's my privilege to introduce another person, another champion in the Assembly who is the real deal, sticks his neck out time and time again to support folks experiencing homelessness. Assemblymember Isaac Bryan. For years, Assemblymember Bryan has been at the forefront of discussions of economic and housing justice. As an Assembly member, he championed legislation to create housing and employment programs for people leaving prisons with nowhere to go. He has worked to end prison gerrymandering through AB 1848 and end the practice of punishing parents for children in foster care through AB 1686. I'm pleased to introduce Assemblymember Bryan.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know we were doing this today until I saw Reva Stevens on the plane this morning. I said, oh man, if Reva's coming up, it must be a powerful day. And seeing all of you, I see that power. I feel that power, and it's important because this building needs to see that power. It needs to feel that power. Housing is a human right. And we didn't end up in this situation on accident. We don't have tens of thousands of people in my home city of Los Angeles on the street by accident. We don't have over 100,000 people statewide by accident. It was decisions. It was policy choices. Many of them happened in this building. It was those decisions that led to 1 in 4 children exiting the foster care system and then right up on our sidewalk. It was those decisions that led to every other person coming home from incarceration ending up on the sidewalk. It was those decisions that put us hundreds of thousands of affordable housing units behind. It was those decisions that led to over 40% of the people on the streets being black, despite the state population of black folks only being 8%. These weren't accidents, they were policy choices. You know that, I know that. And the way we're gonna solve this crisis is to make different policy choices. To decide that housing is healthcare, housing is a human right. We're not gonna criminalize our way out of homelessness. We're gonna treat people with dignity, respect. We're gonna build affordable housing. We're gonna do all of these things when we've got a surplus, and we're gonna do all of these things when we've got a deficit, because these are the essentials that Californians are counting on. We've got to solve this crisis. It is the #1 issue on folks' mind. So it doesn't matter what our budget situation looks like. You've got to put the things that matter in it. You've got to put the people who matter in it. And for too long, our unhoused brothers and sisters have been thought of as people who don't matter. And I'm here to tell you, along with my sister, Luz Rivas, those days are over. We see you. We got you. Keep on fighting.
Thank you, Assemblymember Bryan. We've got another leader coming up who's been fighting for his whole career for people experiencing homelessness from San Diego. Since he was first elected to the Assembly in 2020, Assemblymember Chris Ward has put housing and homelessness front and center. Following his leadership around these issues as a city council member in San Diego, where he also chaired the regional task force on homelessness. As an Assembly member, He's passed legislation to prohibit discrimination based on income in affordable housing and make rental applications cheaper. As a friend to our cause, we're thrilled that he's now leading the Assembly Housing Committee. Please welcome Assemblymember Chris Ward.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your advocacy. We have our work cut out for us, but you have allies here in the Assembly, starting with me, making sure that we are supporting housing because it is a human right. We've got a lot of challenges out in our communities. Our communities, our service providers, they are housing tens of thousands of people every night through some of these programs that have scaled up, largely because of the investments that we've made here at the state capitol. But our homeless sector is suffering due to decades of underfunding and inconsistent funding policies. That's got to stop. California has made significant progress in recognizing that homes end homelessness. We also know that California cannot solve its homelessness crisis without a commitment to creating more homes that people can afford through rental subsidies, rental assistance, and building new affordable housing. Can you say it with me for the people in the back? Rental subsidies, rental assistance, build affordable housing. This balance of permanent housing is going to make shelter more effective. But not enough resources in permanent housing leads to bottlenecks and people wait in shelters for homes that never arrive, or to leave shelters to return back into the streets. That is not a system that embodies California's values. We should never see funding for shelters and funding for housing pitted against each other. Instead, we should strive for a balanced approach that ensures that everyone can access safety through shelter and then exit quickly to affordable housing. We know what works, and it's on us to be able to get that done. Finally, effective homeless responses is rooted in life-saving services that keep people in their homes after experiencing homelessness. Quality services need to be scaled up. Thank you to our service providers who do the Lord's work, helping individuals that need their help, and they deserve more as well. That is why I continue to fight for adequate funding for housing and services. With these key ingredients, we can, we will, and we should make progress in solving homelessness. But importantly, I want to thank you all for being the advocates that you are. Your presence here today, especially at this critical time when we are having these policy and budget conversations over here in these offices, you march on those offices, you talk to your home senators and assembly members, and you let them know, do not forget about housing. Make sure that we are funding our services and we are doing right by California communities. Thank you very much.
By the way, is San Diego in the house? We wanted to make sure Mr. Ward knows San Diego's in the house. For our next speaker, we're going to hear from Reba Stevens. Reba is my friend. She's an advocate with lived experience of homelessness. She's a leader in her community in Los Angeles and a leader in the Bring California Home Coalition, co-chair of our Policy and Education Committee and sitting on our coordinating committee. Please welcome Reba Stevens.
Reba! Give it to him, Reba. Come on,
Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Reba.
Well, how y'all doing?
Wonderful.
Did you see anybody unhoused on your way to the Capitol?
Yes.
Did you see anybody unhoused on your way to the Capitol?
Yes.
Somebody said on their way to the airport. You know, we should be mad at the injustice, the cruelty, and the suffering that happens every single day across California. But I ain't just gonna put it on California, because it's across the United States. So when I think about funding, knowing that we are in a deficit, it ain't just about the California funding. It's about our federal government being aware of what is actually going on and being a part of the solution in which we're facing right now. There is absolutely nothing that we can do without ongoing funding. But there is one thing that we must do with that ongoing funding, is that there must be accountability There must be transparency. And that's our responsibility to hold ourselves and others accountable. We need to educate decision makers that housing solves homelessness. And we need to demand housing. Once again, we need to be mad. Action to prioritize homelessness sufficiently this year to pay for the bare minimum of $1 billion so that people who recently get housed don't fall back into homelessness. How oftentimes is there not adequate and appropriate funding to ensure that those who are being housed can remain housed? What about those job shortages that will not be available to wrap around an individual for their own safety net? Actions against old ideas, repacked as innovative. Old ideas. If we keep doing the same thing, we're going to keep getting what we always got. People are dying every day. Now let me just slow down for just a second.
Every day.
I spent 21 years of my life on the streets of Los Angeles. 12 arrests, 10 treatment facilities. And every time I was released from jail, I had nowhere to go. But right back to the dope man. Right back to that domestic violence relationship. Because I was afraid of being outside. I'm a survivor. And there are many that stand behind me that have survived. But surviving ain't enough. Because it's the trauma, that re-traumatization that continues to happen every single time that we see someone who is unhoused, who is sick and suffering, that reminds us of from which we've come. We need ongoing funding to ensure that all the needs are met. Housing truly is the answer. The solution lies in housing. Say it with me, y'all. Housing. Ongoing funding. Ongoing funding. And without it, absolutely nothing will be done. I want to say thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you who suited up and showed up to be a part of this Advocacy Day. Because right here on the steps in which we stand is the beginning of what will come. We've heard from many of our elected officials, and we have others that are here that will speak. So I'm going to give up this mic, but you know I'm feeling hot right about now. Because I'm mad, y'all. People are dying. People are dying every single day on our streets. Shame on us.
Thank you, Reba. And I'm sorry to those folks that are meeting with Reba today, because they're going to get the truth. They're going to get the truth. So I've mentioned we've got a number of elected officials here, and these are not business as usual elected officials. These are folks who have stuck their necks out, and our next speaker is no different. Since she came to office, Assemblymember Buffy Wicks has championed solutions needed to solve California's housing and homelessness crisis. As the former chair of the Assembly Housing and Community Development Committee, she authored numerous bills promoting solutions. Assemblymember Wicks was the author of ACA 14, which would have created an ongoing source of funding for housing and services for people experiencing homelessness. In her first year as housing chair, she championed AB 2011 as a critical solution to accelerating housing production for all. And she is the author of AB 1657, a $10 billion bond to create and preserve thousands of affordable and supportive housing units. Please welcome Assemblymember Buffy Wicks.
How y'all doing? How about Reba for president? So my name is Buffy Wicks. I represent the beautiful East Bay, Oakland, Berkeley, Richmond. So I became housing chair right a couple years after becoming elected. And I was so excited to be a housing chair because I will tell you, I grew up in a trailer. I don't come from a lot. But when I look back at that experience, how lucky I was that I had that trailer. That was housing security for me and my family. So that I could not just survive, but thrive. So I could go to school, so I could go to community college, so I could go work for President Obama for 6 years. This girl who grew up in a trailer got to do that. But it's because I had that housing security. That for so many people in our communities, particularly our brown and black folks, they are not afforded those opportunities right now. And this is a moral crisis. Are you ready to end homelessness? Are you ready for more affordable housing? Are you ready for our unhoused neighbors and family members and friends, not just to survive, but to thrive? That is why we need ongoing funding for affordable housing. And that is what I am committed to doing in this job. And I need you to go tell all my colleagues and the governor and the speaker and the pro tem that we need more money for affordable housing now. So I am in this fight with you. I will be in this fight every single day that I'm here. But I will tell you, the power is not me. The power is you. You are the ones that hold the key to our future, and I know that working together, we can end homelessness in California. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Assemblymember Wicks.
Yes.
Ooh, it's been amazing hearing from all these speakers today. It's been amazing hearing from these champions. The rest of the day is about making sure that these champions here know that we are in the building and we have their backs, right? If they're going to be out there fighting, sticking their necks out, they need to know that we are there behind them 100%. So today I want you to be thinking about that when you go into meetings with elected officials, when you go into meetings with their staff. This is about having their backs and knowing that there is not just a couple people behind them, but a movement of people fighting for housing and homelessness. So thank you so much for being here. Let's make sure that we make housing as a human right a reality. Let's make sure we make permanent funding a reality. And let's make sure we're not doing shortcut solutions like criminalization of homelessness that we know don't work. We know that doesn't work. We've been there before. We've seen that before. So thank you so much for being here. Let's get it done today, folks. Thank you.